In my room are two images. The first of these images is created from a series of pictures I took of people waiting on escalators. I composited these images into a single image that, through its very passive and objective way of recording them, revealed the different qualities and quirks of people as they engage in this interesting act. Together, these images possess a stage-like quality in which each character is given importance. The observer is called on to make sense of these actions removed from the context of structures in which they are performed. The other image I created talks about routine, expectation, and personal space through a functional and structured composition and shows a composited image of an apartment building taken around midnight. It shows the way people retreat into their homes at night, recovering from the outside into their personal spaces with the intent of returning to the outside the next day. They are also waiting, not on something, but away from something.
Our actions, assumptions, value systems, and interactions with others construct a view of the city as a functional environment. My interest was to view functional objects within this environment, functional through the relationship to a chain of being, in isolation, and instilling into them, individually, some meaning through the process of taking their photograph. The way I chose to display these images is through a dark and mostly empty exhibition space that features 8 monolithic structures, as well as through an array of pictures laid out circularly around the wall. The images shown on these monoliths are ones of patterns, or the lack thereof, that represent the way our everyday is constrained through social structures. They also feature empty skies that have planes moving within them, removing travel from the context of a place of reference. They also feature people waiting on benches, in a void of the night sky, something that plays with our general idea of and our expectations. And houses and windows, showing how our perspectives and individual homes and places of retreat are distinct and distant from each other. Finally, the images on the wall offer just brief glances into a strange alien world constructed from our own. For instance, they show pictures of a fox viewing the city, an outsider to whom the city becomes a landscape. Or pictures of white screens, shining out into the unseen, illuminating only their surroundings.
Our everyday life is surrounded by CCTV. Almost every moment we experience is being recorded by someone anonymous, and in some cases, this recording starts from our birth. During the research, it became interesting to me that there are many people who feel uncomfortable when they are confronted by a camera, but at the same time, feel more comfortable being constantly recorded by CCTV cameras. Not many people in the past would have expected to see the current amount of CCTV cameras on the street. So what will happen in the future? And is all this monitoring really necessary? If people don't recognize the harms caused by the use of CCTV, we might end up employing CCTV cameras in our private spaces through our own intentions, and this, in fact, has already started. In the process of this project, I disassembled a CCTV camera and was quite surprised to find that despite the power the use of this equipment represents, the thing that it was composed of were tiny and the components few. I created objects with the components and tightened the screws to install them into a canvas, just like when CCTV cameras are installed. After taking the screws out from the painted canvas, the canvas was left covered in holes, exposing both sides to each other, expressing the collapsing protective layer between our public and private spaces.
My focus of the project was to portray our subconscious mind dreaming that even while we dream, our mind is bound by social constructions like wealth, social standings, or the general idea of success rather than freely enjoying our lives. To further understand this, I took a survey of around 25 people, asking them to describe their dreams, and came to a conclusion that even though we feel that dreams are free, they really aren't. I made an artwork taking different elements from each dream. I wanted to aim at making a statement based on people's ideas collectively rather than images with only individual significance, and break down these constricted structures that bound people in different pieces and allow them to gain insight into themselves and their lives. The design I finally created was inspired by a mandala, not only because it was mentioned as one of the dream elements, but because it also introduces a certain structure and imposes logic on otherwise unorganized thoughts. The mandala is a collection of all the ideas I took from the dreams that directly correlates to the statements I wanted to make. I took out 4 aspects that were important to me and displayed them on the walls. Each of the 4 works in the center are a representation of 4 environments and the change within these environments.
My idea was to create a symbiosis of a prison and a hotel. Both of these buildings don't encourage social behaviors within them. Both don't allow for a completely freedom for movement, but with different association as to why. Well, the prison is representative of a punitive idea. A hotel is associated with something that is privileged. By giving people the freedom to choose the structure provided by someone else without the need for questioning and relieving them of the responsibility to make the right decision, it provides them a space in which to escape and find respect in.